This is the most unique event in poker, and some of the greatest players in the game have been put to the test. Tonight, the last league match plays out, and we find out who goes through to the final and whose Premier League dreams are over. Welcome to Premier League Poker 5. This season, our 16 players were divided into 2 groups of 8. They've been taking to the felt and fighting for points in order to win through to the final table. The winner of each match will receive 16 points, the runner-up will get 11, then it's 8, 6, 4, 3, 2, and 0 points for coming last. After all matches have played out, the top 3 players in each group will go through to the final table. Those in 4th and 5th place in both groups will play heads up to determine who takes the last 2 spots at the final. The players in 6th, 7th, and 8th positions will be knocked out. Last time, Group A played their last league match. It was an exciting game that saw Sam Trickett, Tony G, and Matthew Franklin all guarantee their seats in the final. Now Group B is about to play their last league match. This is Group B's story so far.
Group B's matches were full of drama. It has already been a roller coaster ride for some of our Premier League players.
That's not a good start.
1,000 at a time.
Yep.
Grinding it up.
You gotta stand up for yourself, you know, in this world.
That's the way to do it.
Seriously, you playing this sit and go forever?
I'm so bad at folding.
It's nothing quite like having the second nuts.
I slept chips?
Chip.
8 chip?
It hurt you too much to fold this small blind to me 3 times in a row.
Good news.
Kid does it again.
No sounds, guys.
Jesus.
Avoid the trap.
I think I'm trapping you.
I got reverse trapped.
Game.
Serious times, serious measures.
That card just complicates things.
Just trying to get all the chips.
I suck so bad.
Who knows what I think sometimes.
Butchered this hand really bad.
So sick, so brutal.
Yep.
Here's how Group B stands after 3 matches. Scott Seiver has done so well to get himself into first position. Patrik Antonius' grinding style works for the top 2, and Yevgeniy Timoshenko solidifies that final table grouping. In the playoff zone, Jungleman 22 points, and for Tom Dwan up to 20 and looking in good shape. In the elimination zone, it's Elky on 16, Vanessa Selbst on 12, and Ben Wilinofsky now mathematically out of the Premier League with only 2 points.
Going into this last heat, Elky has 16 points. If you get a win, obviously 32 would be enough for you to get to the final?
Pretty much. Win is a lock, and second will be pretty good. And I think top 3 could be enough for playoffs, but it's going to be really close between Jungleman and Durrr. But I think it's not so good for me, the tie system, because if I tie with them, because they both have the second place, then it's not looking good for me. So I think I would need top 2 to be safe here.
I'm joined again by Mike Sexton for this last league match for Group B. Now, Mike, last time out, Group A, extreme tactics on the table, especially Yevgeniy.
Well, Jesse, in the 4th round of the Premier League, you know tactics and strategy are more important than playing proper poker. Truthfully, you've got to know how many points you've got are going to accumulate, who you need to finish higher than, et cetera, et cetera. It's strategy that's involved. In the first heat, we saw Yevgeniy, who knew he had to win, just start moving all in, all in, all in, all in. He finally ran into 2 aces and got himself broke. But the strategy and tactics was correct on his part. I think he just bet too much money. He could have got the same information for betting 50,000 or 100,000 instead of moving all in.
Vanessa Selbst, a candidate here for playing aggressive, but on the top of the leaderboard, Patrik Antonius and Scott Seiver, should they play tight or should they not let themselves get under pressure?
Well, I think they should play tight if you're at the top of the leaderboard, at least for a while, and see what happens at the table. All they have to do is outlast 1 or 2 people at the table, and they're guaranteed to at least make the top 5. So I think that's the proper strategy if you're a point leader.
The best players in the world hate to be bullied, but tonight they may have to allow just that.
I can only flop top set so many times.
Hey, this is easy.
Elky. I feel people have been very rude at this table so far this heat.
All right, Scott, can you shut up for a bit? Because I'm actually thinking.
Wow.
Cards are gonna be flying off the table soon for Dan.
Oh, God, come on.
This is it. Group B's fourth league match. We're three ways here. Mike Sexton and Phil Laak joining also. Guys, you've had a chance to look at the point totals. Mike, who do you think is going to be the most interesting player to watch here and why?
Well, obviously the most interesting players to watch are going to be the two at the bottom, which is Vanessa, Selbst, and Ben Wilinofsky, because they're going to be the most aggressive players. They need to win. Ben, obviously, to pick up points, but Vanessa, to have any chance to advance, must win this heat. So I don't look for her to be playing slow at all. On the other hand, the guys at the top, I look to be playing very tight.
And Phil, who do you think is going to set the action? Who's going to be most interesting here?
I agree with Mike Sexton, but when all things are given equal, I think Seiver will be interesting to watch after some of the point crazy tactical stuff. And as far as conversation, I don't know. Conversation's gonna be just a Seiver show, you know. Strategy and winning and aggressive psycho stuff is gonna just start flowing out of Sexton's picks. I mean, it's gonna be a banana movement of chips.
One check.
And action right away. Dwan, top pair, top kicker. Jungleman's got the jacks. Seiver's got aces as well.
Well, we can see a very interesting bit of strategy right here. Wilinofsky with a gut shot straight draw. And he is just betting to try to bully him around, but it's not going to work with these kind of hands. This is Tom Dwan you're fooling with here.
Yeah, and I mean, Tom Dwan's mettle could be tested because Wilinofsky can threaten that he can get his whole stack involved early.
Well, you got to admire Seiver for laying down the two aces right there.
Yep, and he did it effortlessly. He just knows it's not important. He was calling a multi-way pot to try and nail a flush. He's going to be sick if a three of diamonds rivers.
Yeah. He's wishing he was back in there now. He made the nut flush draw to go with his aces, but and a very good lay down because he is beat here.
Remember, even though Wilinofsky is mathematically eliminated from this tournament, the $32,000 you get for winning this heat, that's no small change, especially not to a qualifier like him. He's in here only a couple $100. So I don't think he's looking to just bust himself.
Not as fantastic as you, but will be pretty soon.
I played some poker with Tom Dwan. I can tell you, he can read players about as good as anybody I've played against. So,
but remember now, Ben can apply weird pressure to. He's suicidal. His suicidalness could shut. You know, how can Tom? You know what I'm saying? When
he looks like a deer in the headlights right now to me.
Tony G has come over to check out the action. He's feeling very good now, having made the final table. It's all smiles there.
Boy. If he wouldn't have made the top three, we wouldn't have seen him here right now, showing off to everybody. He'd have been hiding out in the pub, don't worry.
And do you like the way Tom Dwan has played this hand?
Obviously, he's trying to keep the pot small. He understands chips are so valuable, you can't afford to go out first or second in this heat. So he's trying to keep the pot small. No doubt in my mind he knows he's got the best hand now. And I don't care what this kid bets, he's going to play with him.
Okay, what if Ben goes all in? Just let's pretend.
Okay.
Does Tom call?
Well, that's certainly the threat, but he's checked instead.
Now it's all over because it'll be a check by Tom, and that's that.
I think Tom's
Is he going to value bet? I wouldn't. I don't know.
Yeah, he can't help himself. It's a value bet here. He's hoping the guy's got aces and he'll pay him off.
Hoping for ace queen, I suppose.
Well, so much for the tight strategy in this heat. 4 players playing hand number 1.
And for Tom Dwan, a great start. This is a guy who does not want to let the other players dictate his future. Well, Patrik Antonius having 27 points is 26 points, sorry, in my mind, most concerned with the guys immediately behind him, overtaking him for the top 3 spots, while Jungleman not only has to worry about getting himself in the top 3 spots, but the 3 people behind him, Vanessa, Elky, and Tom Dwan, knocking him out of the top 5 positions.
But you got to recognize that if Patrik Antonius is the first one out, he could very easily not even make the top 5. Vanessa would go past him if she won.
Raise 8,000.
That's true.
I mean, even if you're one of the point leaders, you just can't afford to go out first or second, which is why people play tight in that situation. You just want to just hang on and pick up a few points to know you can at least make the top 5.
I'd make it 10.
He might make it.
If you go out 8th or you go out 7th, you might not make the top 5, even though you came to the table as one of the point leaders.
I really thought this hand was going to be like 4, 6, 8.
I got there.
Scott Seiver trying to get a cheap flop, but Vanessa Selbst re-raised, and she's, I guess, just going to do this again and again.
She likes to play a lot of pots. A lot of people feel the pressure, you know, to not lose, so she's going to be able to.
So it sounds like in both your minds, as long as there's still 8 players at the table, everybody has to play tight, besides Vanessa.
Isn't Ben just playing for the money? He's just going to play.
Correct. He's just going to play, yeah.
And since everyone's playing tight, he should loosen it up a tad too, especially on hands where Vanessa doesn't play, just because.
But he's allowing these guys to come into pots for small raises. That's the part I don't understand.
I don't like that either.
Dwan could never play an ace-jack if the guy moved in on him. And look, pair of 5s coming in the pot. These guys could not play.
If he just opened for 25, let's say.
If he opened for 50,000 or 25,000
Right.
or moved all in, they'd
You're
be
just
out of this
basically going
pot.
to pick up a bunch of small pots.
And now look what's going to happen to him. He's going to lose the pot.
Well, even though Tom Dwan has top pair here, the pressure could be intense.
Well, Dwan's played 2 pots. Both times he flopped top pair and top kicker.
Held on and won them both.
Well,
Which
he
is
hasn't
part
won
of the
this
reason
one
why. Right, that's part of the reason why he's itched up. He's kept the pots really small, but he's still up at 23,000. Yeah, this is not going to work out for Ben, I don't think.
Ben has bet
what's
nearly a double pot bet here, guys. He's bet 34,000 into 19.
Gotta love Dwan's demeanor at the table. He's not only staring at the guy that bet, he's staring at the guy who is also in the pot, which in this case is Elky. Just to get a feel if Elky's got anything. There goes Elky.
Well, if you remember, in the last the Group B match, Ben Wilinofsky went out to Tom Dwan the very first hand. Tom Dwan had quads, and Ben bluffed into him all the way down.
Yep.
Dwan is Wilinofsky's bogeyman.
Yep.
Well, I didn't see that heat, but I'm watching this one, and I'm watching this Ben guy make small raises pre-flop instead of large raises pre-flop, and it's costing him.
It is
He's supposed to be
interesting.
bowling these guys around, but it's
correct.
not happening.
You can't play these small pots. In fact, yeah, when I folded my pocket deuces from the other match, I think that was a mistake too, since it was a smallish bet. If it was larger, I would have had to fold, but it wasn't. It was enough to pull me in. And these bets he's making aren't enough to push the people out. It's like judo. You want them in. Sorry, when you don't want them in, you got to push them out.
These are the highest stakes cash game players in the world that are playing here. Guys like Tom Dwan, Jungleman, Patrik, Antonius. You're not going to push them out with small raises.
Correct. Yeah, 125K to them is like, you know, it's like a half of a pot or something. It's just like whatever.
Dwan
like
is playing an ultra defensive style, letting Wilinofsky do all the betting, and I like it. I mean,
well, unless this guy moves all in, I don't see any chance he's going to win this pot. And I'm not sure he's going to win it if he does that.
Correct. I think he's about 25% to win if he shoves it all in. I think 75% of the time Tom would just go. He'd be like, whatever. I can go back to Macau and gamble. It's not like he's. Even the $500,000 first prize, Tom is, you know, here it is, check, check.
Well, he's waved the flag.
Ace high.
not once did Dwan take his eyes off Wilinofsky, and Ben just seems to be shifting chips to his left. Dwan is not wilting to the pressure.
Oh.
I don't mind. If it's versus me, I don't mind.
Well, Ben better change his tactics to these small pre-flop raises, or his stack is going to go down when it should be just constantly going up. All he's got to do is bet 40, 50,000 every time pre-flop.
Yep.
He's going to win almost every pot.
I actually think the correct strategy is even closer to, not every hand, because then they just see that, oh, you know, I'm tempted to just shove with whatever.
You know, in the old days, Phil, as you know, guys that came into the poker world were like pool hustlers that found a pool game or a poker game in the back of the pool hall, like an Amarillo Slim, like a Puggy Pearson. Now you get all these university graduated kids that have watched poker on television. They grew up with it, been playing since they've been 16 years old.
And the online poker made it so that they could all see their infinite experience in a short time.
We've got action here. The pot opened by Elky to 6,000, called by both blinds, Wilinofsky and Dwan, and Wilinofsky's got a huge hand.
Wow. Does he overbet the pot again? He's been consistently doing it with weak and strong hands.
Well, how about
wow, he's
that?
very consistent. Did 31 again on the pots of 18. I love this kid. I want to start thinking like this. I mean, I don't even get it. That's why I love it. But once the guy has action, his thinking is, now I snap him for a stack. I don't know. I kind of like this.
It's a fascinating strategy. He didn't employ it in the first 3 heats. He's obviously come up with a strategy that this is going to be effective.
Let's put it this way, no one in that table thinks he had a set of, when they go back and read on the break that he had a set of 5s top and played it like this, every one of them is going to be stunned.
Actually, the diamond on the turn may save Elky some money here.
Yeah, for sure it will. Elky's sick with that.
Had it been an offsuit 9,
61.
Elky with the overpair of that flop might have continued with this hand, but I think this gives him an out, a way to get away from this hand.
Yeah, and I think he's going to, I mean, what is he? How's Elky's shot at getting?
Well, I was going to say he's not in great shape. He currently lies 6th. He's outside the playoff zone. Elky is a guy who knows he needs to make a big showing here. He's going to have to find a spot to gamble. Is this it?
No, but it might have been on the flop. He might have gone for a raise in the flop, and then I don't know if you can raise fold that if you're going to raise, but.
Well, he lays it down, and a good lay down it is.
He's a sharp guy.
He is so talented.
I had top set again. I really didn't want to.
It is amazing. He's won the Triple Crown of poker. Not many guys in the world have done that.
Keep overpounding with top set.
We are halfway through the first level, and it is Vanessa Selbst and Tom Dwan who have taken the early chip lead. For Selbst and Elky, who are in the elimination zone, they will be very active in this heat. For Wilinofsky, he can no longer qualify for the final, but he is set to play the spoiler in this last league match. We return to Vienna after the break as Group B's 4th league match continues to play out.
Welcome back to Season 5 of Premier League Poker from Vienna. The big guns are battling it out, and it's Vanessa Selbst and Elky who are struggling in the league table. They must score big points tonight to keep their Premier League dreams alive.
Yevgeniy Timoshenko has yet to move a chip. That's what we were talking about is likely to be the correct strategy for him early. He's not going to waver from that.
And it's absolutely the correct strategy, especially considering 3 and 4 people are seeing every flop here.
Yeah, like literally 2 minutes.
No P.
Well, on ace-jack suited, a hand he would never pass in a normal tournament situation. But as you said, Jesse, he passes here. He does understand the strategy and tactics involved here for him to move forward to the final. It's not about playing those kind of hands early on at this final table.
It really isn't. Yeah, I folded an ace-queen once. It would have been a chop, but whatever.
We need something colored, like a ginger ale.
Tight is right.
So that way, like,
and look at this. The ace-jack would have been dominated by Elky's ace-queen.
Give it to somebody and be like, here, have a drink.
Who may have folded if he raised, but whatever.
There are some like crazy 30 tablers at this table.
It's Vanessa who's raised this. Elky just calling on the button.
Oh, I missed that. Okay, Elky called with ace queen.
I knew a lot of people that did. I would have thought yes. And I don't say that's a bad thing.
Elky's playing a style much more like the chip leaders, and yet he only has 16 points.
Right now, Yevgeniy sick. He didn't play this pot. He'd have flopped aces and jacks.
Wash your hands. Come on.
There's no way you're.
Vanessa will be well aware that she's in a bit of trouble here. Do you think?
On your hands?
Once she gets called on that flop, worst her opponent has is 2 aces. She does have a gut shot straight draw now. She can win the pot here if an 8 comes off. Only card she can win with. Elky doesn't want to jeopardize chips, so he checks. He gives her a chance to catch that 8, but she doesn't do it as a 6 comes off.
Keyboards are really filthy.
Once she gets called on the flop, she's got to put her opponent on an ace. She has done it. She's just waving the flag, giving this pot up, and wisely so.
Yep.
I actually do that, but have you ever...
These players showing amazing survival tactics, guys, would you say? I mean, it's almost like there's this super satellite feel out there, and none of these guys plan on going broke.
Even on... Oh, man.
Triple Crown holder and pro gamer Elky Grospellier has failed to find his form in most of this Premier League. He had an average performance in Heat 1, taking home just 4 points. And disappointment again in Heat 2. He had 2 monster hands. The first was against Vanessa's Selbst, which saw Elky win his first big pot of the event. The second didn't go his way, however, as he doubled up Timoshenko and went on to take 5th place.
Yeah, man.
After 2 frustrating heats, Elky was determined to take some big points. Once again, he had a successful start,
Butchered this hand really bad.
winning a big hand against Yevgeniy Timoshenko. But he couldn't maintain the chip lead as he lost a huge pot to Seiver, and he was out in 3rd place. He is now in danger of being eliminated from the Premier League. Tonight is his last chance to pull off a win and help keep his Premier League dreams alive.
I think this Premier League is definitely a very prestigious event because of the opposition and the field. Because first it's like a $125,000 buy-in, and also it's invitation only. So you sure like you only play against the best players in the world. It's kind of weird, but I do better. I guess the tougher the opposition is, usually the better I do. So I'm pretty confident, yeah.
3 more hands. 3 more hands.
Well, Phil Laak, you could be sitting with 3 of these players or 4 of these players at the final if you win your heads-up match against Andrew Frankenberger.
That's
Andy,
true.
I should say. He likes Andy, not Andrew.
I hope my Plastic Man t-shirt can save me.
Fold. 1 fold. 6 fold. 7 fold. 8 fold.
Well, Ben Wilinofsky has been involved in every pot, and for Seiver, you know, he just has to know he's gonna get raised or get action.
Let's come in for 2,000. Yevgeniy gonna call with the 2 10s. Vanessa in as well with the ace-5 of diamonds.
So these players have limped because of the Wilinofsky factor, and
he's gonna raise here with this hand.
Now he must know how strong that Seiver and Timoshenko are strong. Wouldn't you agree?
He's got the worst hand at the table, yet he's the one raising the pot because he's going to just try to bully him around.
Yep, build it and bully it.
Well, they're going to see a flop with this hand.
No, it's tough. He has to fade 2 hands, you know.
You can understand Timoshenko, though, thinking it's a fit or fold spot, right? If I hit my 3 10s, I'll have to just go with it.
Right.
Well, ace-king-7 is the flop.
This means
Anybody's going to get rid of Timoshenko here, that's for sure.
I think he's just going to... He's definitely been. We're going to fold now. Vanessa's in a spot where she's got to figure out what's going on. I mean, you call with ace-5 mostly to not get bet into when you have this flop, you know.
Vanessa definitely didn't.
Well, incredible. Her poker instincts are just uncanny. She makes this call, knowing she's going to have to fade heat on the turn.
Yep. That's a great card for Vanessa, because if she was against ace-queen or ace-jack, it's now a chop. And that's fantastic for her. Of course, if her opponent has a king, she's already ahead. It's just a matter of it.
You can give us a check.
Well, Ben's giving the pot up.
Yep.
I mean, once he checks there, he's just giving it up. He knows he's not going to steal the pot from her if she called a bet on the flop there. She's not calling with a gut shot straight draw or anything. She obviously has 2 aces, period.
Check. It's first 2-1 to check.
No, it's
on the
last
reverse.
aggressor.
That's only if there's betting on that straight.
Both of you turning hands.
It's last aggressor, Ben.
It's not.
Come on.
It's last aggressor, and I'd really like to see what he's raising from the big blind after 4 people play.
Where's Matt? On the river goes check. Who shows their hand first?
I thought it was last aggressor. That's what they've been saying every single time.
It's last aggressor if there's betting on the river.
Yes. Can we see his hand?
Well, no, then I mean, I'm not going to ask to see his hand if it's not his turn to show. I only checked that. I mean, whatever. I was checking anyway, but.
Well, Vanessa was asking for a ruling if he had to turn his hand up first.
She wants to see how out of line he is.
He had last action in some places. They make him turn it up first. In most places, it's the other way around, but
Europe, typically, especially England, it's last action. In America, everywhere, universally, I think it's closest to the button, right? Is that right, Mike?
It's obviously not last action here because Vanessa had to turn her hand up first.
Oh, no. Here, no. In London, I'm saying. In Vienna, right there.
The rule that was instituted is that it's last aggressive action unless there's no action on the river, in which case, at that point, it's done positionally. That's a rule that they instituted from the beginning. There's Premier League.
And by the way, these are all pros. Any of these people in a cash game would be turning their hand up if they knew it was good against a wide range of opponents in a wide range of situations if they were out of position with what they knew was the best hand. You know?
Vanessa said, I want to see what he's raising me with. That's why she wanted to see her hand. She knew she had the best hand when the guy was checking.
Yeah,
but she wanted to see what he was raising with and what he was calling with pre-flop.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she's got the right. She paid the money.
There he 3-bet with a queen 3 offsuit. That would have sent a loud message to all of them.
Yep.
Now, Jungleman's going to have a really interesting spot here. I guess so is Antonius, but he's decided just to take the flop off with the jacks. He is one of those players who has a lot to lose, and Antonius has an interesting decision as well. I mean, all in is definitely, is it something worth thinking about here for Antonius, Mike?
Well, if he puts Vanessa on this kind of puzzle here, meaning he knows she's at it, which she is, as we can see.
And remember, the probability that she's going to be at it normally is not so wide, but now it's a little wider just because she knows everyone's in a constraint position.
Well, there you see Patrik Antonius throwing away the ace-queen. So if any overcard comes out there like an ace, that could be the end of the 2 jacks for Jungleman as well.
Yep.
I have this feeling that Jungleman's got a computer in his head, and he may not be as done with the jacks as we think.
I think he's done with them.
I think he's done with them too.
Survival is just so valuable in these things. How's Jungle doing on these points?
Jungleman's currently in 4th position.
You are right, Jesse. He made the call with 2 jacks. Just an incredible call, in my opinion, by the Jungleman here. The way this hand was played.
I mean, it's not.
Huh. She might. Do you think she's going to take the free flush draw?
At this stage, she has to feel like he has an ace. Is that correct?
Or flop 3 10s.
Huh. I'm never putting on her a 9.
No, not her.
Maybe in a cash game.
But she's got to put Jungleman on an ace.
Yeah.
Just wondering if she can get him off of it. Or he might have flopped 3 10s, which would give him 10s full, obviously.
So
but
this 7.
I'm gonna look back and see like 8-6 offsuit or something.
Well, that's the power of pressure right there. Jungleman had the right idea, but just couldn't stand the constant pressure.
I think Jungleman made what is normally a great play. I think, but not against a wizard.
So you're saying you do think it's 8-6?
First level in the books, and Mike Sexton, no surprise to see Vanessa Selbst on top. She's the story.
She is definitely the story for winning this heat, and she must win it to advance at least to the top 5, I believe. And that, I'm not even sure it's a possibility. That might not do it, but I think it will. But she must win the heat, no question about it, to have any chance to advance to the final.
We'll be back after the break as Group B's last league match continues here in Vienna. Welcome back to Premier League Poker 5. This is the biggest game in town with a $2.2 million prize pool and a prestigious title on the line. Group B's last league match is underway. Let's go back to your commentary team.
Let's get a fresh perspective.
Oh, it's 2-4
You can see the Group B standings. Now, Phil Laak, you were in a situation similar to a lot of these players, being forced to play tight in your last match with someone like Vanessa Selbst pushing every hand. How are they going to stop her?
I think the optimal spot to be from Vanessa is 3 or 4 deep. Like when Luke was doing this same thing Vanessa was doing, I was immediately handcuffed because I had to worry about 4 players coming in. But what the other players did was they just like re-raised, maybe even super light sometimes, just because they knew she still needs to win, you know. And then you shut her down kind of with a bluff sometimes. But you have to be able to be 3 or 4 away from her. You can't just be Tom Dwan spot and wake up with like ace-10 and decide to commit your stack. You know what I'm saying? Because there's the people behind you have to worry about.
Well, how about this 3-bet with the 9-7 offsuit by Ben here?
I'll take it.
As you said,
Not exactly
he can
sure.
put undue pressure on Vanessa. Knows.
Yeah, because she still has the primary directive that she has to come in first or second, you know.
Well, she knows this guy, it's not about points with him either, because it means nothing.
But she has a shot to get points, so he can apply pressure to her, and she can apply pressure to everyone else, but he's intercepting her ability to extract pressure on the rest of the guys. He's really quite sharp.
I shouldn't put a time limit on it because it's yeah. But if you make it like 30 minutes.
Selbst is considering a 4-bet here.
When after this is over.
And everyone's trying to torture her, talking about time, this, that, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, they've been playing so fast because of the tactical stuff that we're actually got more hands down per hour so far.
And I'll tell you something else, Mike. Having talked to Vanessa, having watched her in commentary, I was going to say she wouldn't be thinking about a 4-bet.
Unbelievable and all-in bet by Vanessa Selbst. Folks, I'm telling you,
knows what that
keep
Ben
your eye
knows.
on this woman. What a poker player she is.
She also knows that Ben is quite capable of picking up the fact that it's like the only way to snuff out the people trying to abuse your spot is to re-abuse them. It's like,
well, she's just drawing the sword in the sand.
By 6 spot, I mean.
The guy 3-better a minute ago with Queen 3 offsuit. She never got to see that hand when she flopped the aces and won that pot, but still.
But she knew from the energy flow post-mortem to the hand exactly what was happening.
You almost got that.
You know, that 60-odd thousand that Tom Dwan picked up in those first couple pots, that's gold dust right now.
Now it's gold dust, right. It's just starting to...
You can see that now, can't you?
Well, at ace-king flopped an ace. At ace-jack, it come jack-high. Those are the 2 pots that he won. But he didn't back down from the aggressive player. He kept the pots as small as he could, though, but he did take them down, and that's why he's sitting where he's at now.
Well, Elky's raised this, Timo's called, and maybe this is the only way you're going to get to the flop with guys like Selbst and Wilinofsky. Show them a little bit of aggression early.
Uh-oh. I think the ace-jack here is definitely going to... He's already loving being aggressive. Now he's got a hand.
Yeah, but he's got to recognize these guys have got to have a big hand, but he is going to raise them.
I think that's a fairly aggressive move there.
You clearly have done a lot more work on this than anybody else combined.
Well, he runs the pairs right out of the pot.
Seiver's been very... Let's talk about Seiver. Seiver has basically is in lockdown mode. He's not trying to make any moves or anything. He's got so many points. He's just basically watching a few people drop, and then he'll probably pop in, right? Because that's the way he guarantees his lockup.
Well, we saw Tony G do it in seat 1 in the first heat, sitting exactly where Scott Seiver is. Didn't play one hand other than 2 aces practically the whole heat. Scott Seiver doing the same thing. Understands that all he needs is a few points. He's guaranteed to move forward.
But I realized it could easily be taken out of context. It would just sound like
The Jungleman's raised with the suited connectors. And Patrik Antonius has 2 jacks and just calls, does not 3-bet with the jacks.
Don't put it by Wilinofsky to stick another 3-bet in here. What do you think?
Wow. And this is a hand, too, kind of. I mean, this is a hand you want to play in a cash game.
60% of the time, though, my quotes work every time.
But he has to realize Jungleman was pretty early positioned. He's a sharp guy. He might just taste like, wow, you're so early, Jungle, and you raise. You know, but we'll find out.
I predict the 3-bet myself.
Yeah, he just doesn't want to stop ever.
Wow.
Well, Patrik Antonius is going to definitely commit a ton of chips here.
That may get Jungleman out, but I don't see Patrik going anywhere.
Nope, because the pattern is too... It's too standard.
But if Patrik draws a line in the sand and goes all in, you know, this is his Premier League.
I think he's going to.
But remember, there
Premier
are
League or not.
$1 million pots waiting one flight away from him. This is not about, I mean, he wants to get to the final table, but it's like, this is about as good a spot you're going to find. The guy that plays every pot and raises every pot and blah, 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 and now you've flatted, you've under-repped your hand, blah, blah, blah.
You're going to see Patrik go all in here. That's my belief. He's just going to call. That's option number 3.
Wow.
Didn't fold, didn't move all in. Going to see a flop first just to try to dodge an ace or a king or queen on the flop and see what happens from there. And he did not do it as it comes ace 5, 3 all spades.
And he has 2 non-spade, you know. I think
just a horrendous flop for Patrik right there in my mind.
This pot's now big enough where if Wilinofsky wants to make a big bet, it's going to have to be nearly half his stack.
I think any bet he makes, he's going to win the pot. I'm talking about Wilinofsky. On the other hand, if Patrik could happen to somehow lead out and bet this pot, he's going to win it too. But Ben has first option here. And as you see, he's reaching for chips. And that's going to spell doom for Patrik. This is why you move all in with this hand against this particular player.
He's
pre-flop. Yeah, you just, wow, what? Yeah, I agree.
He's actually chosen to make a very small bet. This is less than half the pot. Very unorthodox from what we've seen from Wilinofsky so far.
Looks like he might be trying to entice a call as well.
Wow.
I just can't believe
I'm quitting poker. I can't win anymore.
It's unbelievable. The poker instincts of Patrik Antonius to think his 2 jacks can be good with all that out there and no spade in his hand.
Just so we're clear about Patrik Antonius' standing, he's currently 2nd in the league. If he was to get knocked out right now, there are a lot of combinations which still see him in the top 5, but very few that see him in the top 3. And he could not make either stage of the final.
Well, he's going to fire again
because he knows most aces are going to be sick to call anyways. Well, this is for sure. I mean, if Patrik calls this, I'm definitely quitting poker. Okay, because I can't call that. I can sometimes call it.
Unbelievable. Well, the kid showed heart there. He made the continuation bet on the flop and fired another shell on the turn right there, and that's what got Patrik out of that pot. But
the problem is, I mean, it's fine that sometimes in a tournament when a guy's playing a tighter range to call with jacks, you know, fade the king, queen, ace board. But like in this spot where the guy's being
then you make a folding
aggro,
motion, then you look at them,
super
then you
monkey,
do this, then you do that.
You know,
Please stop. Yevgeniy goes,
I don't know.
Okay,
Pre-flop is the time to do it there.
And then hasn't stopped.
Well, I think so with the 2 jacks, if you're going to play him.
It's pretty incredible.
And certainly if you're going to see a flop, when the guy bets out, even if he has nothing when it comes ace 5, 3 all spades, you don't have a spade in your hand, and just 2 jacks, I think you have to give it up right there. Not give away that extra $34,000.
Right. Yeah. Correct. Tom Dwan, what is Tom Dwan's just kind of chilling. He had those 2 hands, and he's just like, you know, I'm sitting on 360. It's all good.
You know, for instance, I mean, if Patrik Antonius was knocked out next, that would be enough of a safety net for Scott Seiver, I believe.
Oh, forget the safety nets. The great Wilinofsky, they never use a net. They went right across the wire with no net.
You're right. That's what makes this so exciting.
I think Jungleman's going to do something here.
These guys are playing without a net.
I would just go all in.
I think if you play this hand, you do have to go all in, and he's done it.
Yeah, I mean, it's coming from Ben. Ben plays every hand. And now Ben will fold because he knows.
We can see it's going to get through here, guys, but I mean, it's
probably too much to spike.
It's a risky move, isn't it?
Well,
not really. You can't. I mean, it is, but you know, your best chance to get chips is from a guy who raises every hand. And 9s is this.
That's correct.
It feels like such a waste of aces right there.
I'll get him again in the next 10 hands, probably.
Probably.
Selbst came into this contest knowing she had to win to have any chance at all, and that winning would give her more than a good chance. She's done that. She's given herself a great chance right now with nearly 500K.
One call.
Oh my. Now she's got the kings.
Pre-raise. 14.
Seiver has been limping in and then passing to raises, but with a pocket pair, you can understand why he wants to take the flop off. He will probably play fit or fold, and if he hits the 3, stand back. Oh my! This set over set. Well, this could be it for Scott Seiver. He started out league leader, has played as snug as you know what. A bug in a rug. And he is just going to be thrown into the mix. They're getting it all in. If Seiver finishes this on 27 points, he's not even guaranteed for the top 5 spots. No way could he ever believe that he's beat right here. Perhaps a heart can save him. Selbst knows he's got something. He wouldn't have called the flop with no hand. Oh my gosh, she's checked it.
One check.
How tough is Seiver? How unbelievably tough is Seiver? He's gonna escape from this.
Incredible.
He called on the flop. And now with the straight out there is no way he does his money.
Well, I'm not sure about that.
One bet 30,000.
It's a value bet, blocker bet, bluff. It's basically,
and it might freeze Vanessa. She might think he's got the straight.
Does she think he would do this with a set of 5s or 3s?
Would he have been in there on the flop with 2 4s, though? That's the question.
Right,
Unlikely.
he wouldn't. Yeah, so then therefore she, I don't know, I still think, oh, she's gonna raise, huh?
Yeah,
raise
she's gonna. You're just not gonna put it.
Yeah.
You're not gonna put him on a 4 in his hand or 2 4s after a bet on the flop.
Anyways, I've learned in spots like this, I'm just supposed to be quiet in the commentary booth.
He has made some of the biggest and toughest river laydowns
ever
in the Premier League so far.
He got away from quads twice in real legitimate hands too.
Well, this is a very smart value raise by Vanessa here, 65,000. He might just call this bet with his hand.
Because he knows that she knows he can't have a 4. You know?
He's got 200,000 back. Calling 65 here would leave him with 145.
Upset.
Oh.
He called it.
Yeah,
well, he does call it.
Did she let him off by not re-raising all in? She's in great shape anyway, and Seiver on the precipice. If he is first out, the whole Group B gets thrown into disarray.
Wow. Well, he wanted to lay it down. You could sense it, but he didn't do it.
WSOP bracelet winner Scott Seiver has had a mixed run so far in this season's Premier League. In Heat 1, he went heads up with Patrik Antonius and took 2nd place. But it was disappointment in Heat 2 as he took the bagel when he went up against Elky. He was quick to turn things around in Heat 3, however, and it was definitely his day. He made it to heads up again, and this time went a step further. He won maximum points and moved to the top of the leaderboard.
It would be absolutely huge if I could come out on top of Premier League 5. It's the top competition from all around the world, and to really get yourself to the top of a tournament of this caliber and strength just shows that not only am I able to compete with the best in the world, but I'm able to shine as well.
Group B's last league match is turning out to be another enthralling game. Tonight, 3 players will be eliminated. 2 will go through to a heads-up playoff match, and 3 will be guaranteed a place in the final. The action continues after the break.
Welcome back. There's still 8 in Group B's last league match. Only the top 3 in the league are guaranteed a place in the final, so the pressure is on. Back over to your commentators, Jessie May, Mike Sexton, and Phil Laak.
Scott Seiver now has his work cut out for him to even make it into the playoffs.
Wow. There he flopped a set. He made a crying call on the flop. He checked on the turn and made a crying call on the river. I mean, incredible.
And the 2 possible combinations, I believe, that would see Scott Seiver, if he finishes dead last here, that would see him not even making the playoffs, would involve either Elky or Vanessa winning the heat and him finishing on only 27 points.
It'd be so sick, and such a sick beat, and so much pain.
But believe me, right now, he's putting Vanessa on the win in this heat, I promise you that. She's going to take control. She's an uncanny player. She's in perfect position to win this heat because she's going to continue to accumulate chips while the rest of these guys are sitting back, waiting for somebody to go broke.
Sexton, that's exactly what's going to happen. And except for Wilinofsky effect, which is the fact that he loves torturing Vanessa knowing that she has to win.
Look at this. He's calling the raise with the queen deuce offsuit here. He's got bottom pair. Now he's got 2 pair. Vanessa doesn't let off the pedal here. Some of her chips are going away. Yep. Kiss those goodbye. Whatever she puts in there is gone now. Doesn't matter how much it is.
I don't know. I think this hand is strong enough.
They're going to his stack.
And weak enough at the same time to merit kind of, let's see, what's his stack? Maybe not. I was thinking raise because, I mean, look at all the draws. There's diamond draws with straight draws abounding in there. And the last thing he wants to do is let her get, like, you know, a draw to like 9+ outs. But it's, if he raises and he probably won't raise because, right, if he raises and gets re-raised, he knows he's beaten. He doesn't.
Well, the difference right now between Wilinofsky and everyone else at this table is Wilinofsky can just play straight poker.
Right, straight poker.
Without regard, without pressure.
CTC. CTT.
Start with that.
Calling to torture. CTT is what that's called. Wow, Yevgeniy just folded ace-king. Let me see if I understand why he did that. Okay, no, I don't understand why he did that. Oh, did Vanessa raise with jacks? Is that what happened? I missed that.
Timoshenko open folded the ace-king, Phil?
Yes.
And I'm just guessing it's because that right now that he feels like
I'm going to outweigh 2 people. His points, he must have points such that if Scott Seiver or...
He's currently in 3rd position. If he can guarantee leapfrogging ahead of Patrik, Antonius, and Scott Seiver, with the way the points lie, there's still a lot of combinations that would put him in the top 3.
Yeah, well, when Yevgeniy folded that, he knew that 6 people had to act behind him. And
in the meantime, Ben is 3-bet here with a jack-9. Vanessa has 2 jacks. It's going to be interesting to see how she plays it.
I think she's going to make a small 4-bet with the intention of calling a jam.
Yeah, I said I don't think she's going anywhere, Mike. That's
okay, then you're correct, yes.
Yeah.
And Wilinofsky is, he is liable. He's done it before. He is liable to go all in here. He may not, but he's liable to. We all saw in the qualifiers, the viewers watching, when Wilinofsky made a 5-bet with a 7-8 offsuit, all in.
As an aside, when you get a hand like Jack-9 hearts in a cash game that's deep stacked, that's, even though it's a weaker hand than King-9, it's actually a better hand because when it connects and starts giving you some kind of connection, the chance of moving forward with it is a lot higher than King-9 with confidence.
The flop comes 8-3 deuce. Great flop for Vanessa there. No overcards out there. She's got the overpair.
This is Vanessa's.
He didn't re-raise her. I think she's just going to take it down right here with a nice pair.
60. So that's a number where if he wants to make a move, he might think it will get through. It won't.
It does look like an ace-high continuation bet. You must say that.
And he's thinking, I've got 2 overs and a straight draw. Because remember, even though it's a runner straight draw, the online kids just see it as a straight draw because they've survived millions of hands. They just get them more often.
So you think if Wilinofsky makes a move here, she's going to snap him off?
She's going to be so happy.
100%. Never throwing this hand away. And he is flat called with a Jack-9 here. That is incredible.
It's a naked float, isn't it?
If a diamond comes, I'm telling you this, he'll own the pot. Nope. Ben is can say goodbye to those chips.
That is a beautiful card for Vanessa.
Yep. Now, if she's really in the zone, she checks. And then Ben bets.
Wow.
And then she calls. Or raises.
That is just too good.
Do you think she can do it?
No.
Because no one thinks that you're being floated on that flop. It always feels like ace, like 10 of diamonds.
There are 2 diamonds on the flop. The kid could have ace-5. You just can't give him a free draw in this situation.
There's just too many things he could have.
With the overcards, I just don't think you can. She's moved all in. He's going to be moving all out.
Yeah, he's just saving face.
Yeah.
You know,
Zero chance he's going to call. So Vanessa going to take down that pot and really have a huge lead now.
739.
I mean, she has come in here with a plan, and she is reading it like a map.
I'll tell you how crazy it sounds, Jesse. Because of her chip position and standing, and because of everybody else's point standing, coming to this final table, you could have almost bet Vanessa Selbst even money to win this heat, just the way things would probably play out. Now, that's hard to say against truly, truly world-class players, the best in the world. But the way the scenario is set up for her,
right? With the
I think she's about even money
it gave
to
her
win the
a lot
heat.
of edge because everyone was constrained. Remember, it's not that I mean, she's a wizard, but they're all wizards, but they're constrained and she's not, and it's a huge difference.
They've got handcuffs on, no question about it. They're chained down. All of them need just a few points to make the top 5, and they're just sitting back hoping people go broke, but it's not happening, and Vanessa is continuing to build her chip stack.
Yeah, there's if you just get to the final table, your equity is 175,000. I don't know. I don't like the call for 11,000 personally.
The 2 aces
with 343. I think
so
you just.
If I had ace
there's just too many. Wilinofsky's already shown that he likes to call.
But it's a balanced strategy by Dwan.
But here's the problem: when you call with 2 aces, you price other players to come into the pot, and you don't want to play multiple players with big pairs.
Right. You got a guy set pedaling and flush pedaling. It's just tough. But Tom
7-4-3. This might present problems for Vanessa here. She's got an overpair of that board. And this guy may fire out at this flop with a continuation bet, beating 2 places, but he checked.
He
Very
knows.
smart to check.
When Tom hasn't played a hand in 4 weeks, he just played a hand. He's like,
okay, and he checked 2 aces.
Wow.
Now a deuce comes off. Vanessa must feel like she's got the best hand now with 2 8s.
yeah. If I was Vanessa, I would think I'm against air and ace king or ace queen or ace jack.
Correct.
I would not think I'm against any pair because any pair is either an overpair or a set.
You know, up to this point in the match, Tom Dwan has never put a bet in at any time except on the river, which is, and I think he intends to hold to that strategy.
It's for sure he's at least calling here. No
like Tom Dwan has got the 343. If he calls the 22, he's still. It's very unlikely that Vanessa would call with anything large enough to actually put him in a bad position chip-wise against the other guys. So he's keeping the pot control in such a way that even if he loses, he's still ahead of some of the people.
And a 5 comes off, gives him a straight.
And he defends against, he knows she can't be on the nut flush because he's defending with that, with the ace of diamonds.
And Ben is sick right now. He would have made a straight. He would have actually tied Tom Dwan in this pot.
Yep.
But Dwan's going to be afraid of diamonds. He's going to be afraid of a 6 that she might have in her hand.
42 hands. Dwan's played, I believe, 4 pots. At no time has he ever made a bet before the river.
By the way, I think Vanessa is going to bet here because...
I don't think so. And I'll tell you why. No, because there's no hand she can beat. There's no hand she can beat right now.
But there are hands
she can't beat any set.
Correct.
She can't beat 2
but
6s. She can't beat an ace.
She can get 10s to fold. She can get jacks to fold. She's going to get queens to fold. And I think Tom Dwan might fold those hands. Of course, he doesn't have it. But she wasn't value betting. She was turning her hand into a bluff to try and...
She knew she was beat. As soon as he called, she made a defensive bet. Though.
I thought she was going to go for it, too. I don't know.
think he was calling with the queens and the jacks as well, personally.
I think so. It's, you know.
I really do. Tom Dwan's up in the second position. Blinds are going to 3 and 6,000. How's that going to change everything?
Well, you just think how small he's kept pots. He had ace-king, he had ace-jack when he flopped top pair and top kicker in both those hands. He's had 2 aces. He never took a raise with him one time during that hand. It shows you he's trying to play small ball, as small as you can play right now. Just slowly accumulate chips to put himself in a better position.
Yep.
You got to like the way he's playing, actually.
It's a masterclass. You know, we saw in Group A a couple people in Tom Dwan's position, but he's executing it better.
Winning smaller pots right now to Tom Dwan is far more important than losing a big pot, like you could do with 2 aces if you're not careful with them. I mean, Vanessa could have had 2 sevens there instead of 2 eights.
And yet, here comes a change in gears. It is now 3 and 6,000. Tom Dwan has a very marginal hand under the gun, and he's raising.
But he's got chips where he can throw the hand away and get away from it and still have chips to play with. He's not down in the 250, 260 zone anymore, and he understands that.
How good does this guy adjust?
This is easy. Raise and take it.
Well, I've played poker with about all the greats in the world over the years. And I'll tell you, when I played in a big cash game with Tom Dwan, he is the guy that makes you scratch your head and you say to yourself, wow. Three players at the table under 200,000 in chips. As blinds and antes continue to go up, more pressure mounts for those guys.
Yeah, Yevgeniy will be feeling good right now, as you said, Mike, because there are three stacks that are much shorter than his.
Yep. 4 raise, 35 fold, 6 fold.
If any of those 3 stacks bust, it will benefit Timoshenko.
I'll take it double up.
Well, Elky picking up 2 threes here, and he's going to call 30,000. Now, we did not re-raise here.
I think Patrik is low enough with the stack that he has to go all in here, even though it's really. I mean,
well, he has to seriously consider what Elky has. I mean, Mike, in your mind, can't Elky be laying with a bigger hand than 2 nines?
I just don't think Elky is going to call if he's got 10s, jacks, or queens in this spot. He's going to 3-bet here, or 4-bet, or whatever it takes. But here he just dry called the raise of the most aggressive player at the table. And he's moved all in. A great play by Patrik.
Yeah, I like this.
This is a very nice play. It's what he probably should have done with the 2 jacks when he had him a minute ago against this guy.
He's probably thinking of that too, Mike. You know? Like, what? You know, the chips are so valuable. It's like, I can't be looking at flops.
Patrik Antonius drew a line in the sand, and he's back over 200K now. He's also still second in the league table.
So now he's got 2 guys beneath him, and that is starting to feel comfortable. I mean, short stack comfortable, but not comfortable.
I don't believe anybody at that table is feeling comfortable right now. And I mean nobody.
Problem is, and I speak from experience, if you get comfortable, you might get out. And that's what happened to me. I was comfortable folding, and I got too comfortable folding.
Boy, Wilinofsky is just relentless there. He finally finds a fold against Vanessa Selbst. Maybe that's the sign that she's broken the straw on the camel's back.
Call.
Dwan, though, is going to call.
I don't think he's taken a re-raise yet at this table. He's had some premium hands. Just trying to keep pots small.
And Vanessa will be aware. Those aces got shown down. She knows that Dwan has to lean towards a strong side here, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's not a good flop. 3 overcards at Dwan's hand here. He does have the flush draw, but Vanessa has the best hand now with 2 10s. But she also does not have a spade, so chance she doesn't like that.
That's 25.
She's got guts. She has got guts.
Yeah, Dwan's got one of those hands.
It's funny, even when you know your opponent is bluffing a lot, it's still hard to hold on when you have something of a hand. It's just hard.
Looks incredible.
Yes,
about
I
this.
think he just folds. I mean, right? He's set pedal. See, this, I don't know what I'm doing.
Come on, Phil.
Well, you said that last time, but here he
I
comes.
don't get any of these right. I'm going home. I'm going to go back and get a minimum wage job and do something simple because I can't take it. This is too good.
Well, Jack of clubs comes off. Neither player going to be crazy about that card because it's possible straight out there now. Possible flush.
Like, I just fold that. When I have 2 7s and it comes 8, 10, queen, even if I just fold. That's my style. Now I know why they all call me a nit, because I don't call when there's, 34 overcards. I don't know, Mike. They can retire me to pasture.
Let me tell you something. 2 of the most prominent players on the planet, and both fight for pots. That means they don't give up pots like you do, Phil, and just give it to the other player. They continue to battle for them. Vanessa making another bet there on the turn to take down that pot.
Jack was great for her because it just opened up the straight draws too, but wow. She knows that Tom can call thin to...
but to have the heart to bet again.
I know. I can do that in cash games sometimes, but not in these sit and goes.
It's a fascinating matchup, and every chance that we could be seeing these two both at the final table. Although if both Selbst and Dwan get to the final, it's going to be at the expense of a couple of other players at this table.
And I'm going to owe you 20 euros, it looks like, too. I mean, you're on par for it. Or I'm on par for it.
Yeah.
I'm on par for it, right?
You're
I make bets, I don't even remember which side I took. But I caught it.
No.
Caught myself.
Dwan, and you know what? It'll be the happiest bet I ever pay as a loser. I mean,
and who knows? It's still 14 hands to go.
I would pay 10 times as much to be able to watch Dwan.
I know. It really is a joy to be in here and seeing all this insane stuff happen. It's different than reading it on the blog because you don't see the expressions and the time. And
calling the raise with the 8-4 here against Patrik. She has flopped a gut shot straight draw.
Just think about the card she needs to hit in the middle and what's going to happen if it comes.
Well, it's not going to come. I just can't see Patrik going any farther with his hand, but it came ace-5, 3 all spades, and he called over 2 jacks before, so he knows her strategy, her style, just to be a bully. He makes the call uncanny, Phil.
I just don't get it. So he just knows that she has ace, jack. Wouldn't she check with it? He knows she has air. Now she's going to fire. Now that means she won't, right? Because I'm the reverse indicator. If I think I'm right, you see? I thought she would fire, so I knew she would check because I can count on them doing the opposite of what I think is right. I figured it out. I know how to commentate now. I just go with my gut, see what I'm going to do, and then just pick the opposite. And
well, what's going to happen is, if he would bet here, she might check raise him out of this pot.
I think that is for sure.
Which she should do.
That is for sure.
She has a straight draw and a flush draw, and I believe she can move him off this hand right here, right now, if she opted to do so.
But she doesn't know what he has. That's the problem. She can have a king. He could have a king.
Well, then she's got to make the straight or the flush.
Oh, yep. If she raises it. Let's see what the stack sizes are. Well, she's only going to, she might just try and put it all in. She knows. Wow, he's in a tough spot. He really wants to get through. So she might do it.
I mean, there is an idea about what Patrik Antonius's range is pre-flop, and if she knows that what we've seen from these players is they are playing a lot of pocket pairs pre-flop, all of them. They're not playing, obviously ace-king they're playing, but it has to be heavily weighted towards a pocket pair here.
It is heavily weighted, and she
if
knows.
She makes this play, it will just be astounding to me.
She's thinking, if he has a hand, he's just slow playing a set. Would he slow play a set? And would he? Yeah, I think he might. Does she do it? I don't. Her body language says she's probably going to give up. No. Huh?
35,000 to call, 92,000 out there.
I'm the worst. I'm the worst.
She has raised him and won this pot because of it. An incredible play one more time by Vanessa Selbst. It's amazing to me. Patrik Antonius, when he sees this tape and sees the hands that he's laid down, he's made great plays, he's had great feels, but he gives up the pot when they put pressure on him. Obviously because of his point count.
More resistance.
But just a terrific play one more time by Vanessa to win that pot with an 8-4.
There are lots of twists and turns in Group B's last league match. It's proving to be another exciting heat. The action continues after the break.
Welcome back to Montesino for Premier League Poker 5. We are watching Group B's last league match play out, and we are still 8-handed.
Well, as you can see, only 2 people out of 8 have more chips now than they started with at this final table. That figures to be probably the standard pattern, I'd say, in this format, wouldn't you? Is the majority of players are going to have less than the buy-in because they're playing so tight.
Yep. So interesting.
One raise 12,000.
Well, this is a bit risky for Seiver, Mike.
What's risky? And if they come over the top of the big bet, he's got to lay this hand down. That's why it's risky, and that's what she's looking at right now. She needs to bust him, but she's not going to do it. She lays that hand down, but he's got the kind of hand that you cannot call a re-raise with, and this guy's liable to raise with the 7-6 suited.
I mean, Vanessa pulling out the point standings there was the equivalent of showing someone your gun. I mean, that was what it is.
Yep.
She was just showing Scott Seiver the gun.
I have a gun. I have a gun, just reminding you. This won't be it because I have a 3 high, but I still have the gun.
You gotta like that.
I believe with the ace-10s, the ace-jacks, the ace-queens, you should make large pre-flop raises if you're going to play the pot. Otherwise, just throw the hand away.
Now, Tom Dwan, the wheels are turning. I think, does he sense an opening here?
And that's exactly what's going to happen.
It's something that he can pull off because he never plays a hand.
Wow, he's gone all in.
He knows how sick Seiver would be to call him be wrong.
I mean, this guy, Tom Dwan,
now
this is the best of them.
Jesse, most players would just insta-fold right here with an ace-10 in this spot. But Scott Seiver seems to know exactly what's going on here, Phil. It's just amazing.
I'll tell you this, a lot of people would have folded the Jack-4 even faster when it came to the button, seeing all that action. And they'd ask for like a cafe au lait or...
You think that Seiver might be capable of calling this bet?
I do. He won't call it though, but he's capable of it. What a play by Tom Dwan.
Scott Seiver is in super duper aggro high, what's it called? Tight mode.
I'll tell you, Tom Dwan is so tough to play poker with. It's just unbelievable how good the guy is.
I think that we are seeing a man who is back at the top of his game, and that game is special. That game is special.
Folks, those of you that like the game of poker, do not turn that dial. You're watching Vanessa Selbst, Tom Dwan, Scott Seiver, Patrik, some of the greatest players on the planet play poker right now, and you can see the feel that they have for the game. Just incredible to watch this. So much fun.
It's a 4 raise 12.
I mean, he has done everything perfect today, Tom Dwan.
5 fold, 6 fold.
And unfortunately for Scott Seiver,
7 call.
No, Elky does not re-raise with the ace-jack. Wants to see a flop first. Now that allows his opponent a much better chance to win this pot. If an ace or jack doesn't come off, and he 3-bets this pot, or continuation bet, he's going to win this pot.
Well, I think the only bet Elky has pre-flop right now. Well, it might have been all in, Mike. Even.
Well, that's why I don't like to play by Elky. I think you have to 3-bet this pot or throw this hand away.
Right, pre-flop is, especially against Ben.
Now look at the trouble he's getting himself into.
If he hits a jack, he's going to be in a world of hurt.
He's got to catch 2 running diamonds or an ace to have the best hand here. That doesn't happen as the 9 comes off.
7 check.
And by the way, even though Ben opens every pot, he's already shown and he will correctly fold to huge shoves.
Also, let's not forget that Elky cannot limp into the final table. There is no limping in for him.
Right.
And, you know, third only works sometimes. Like Vanessa Selbst, he's much better with a top 2 finish.
This guy's firing out with the 2 ducks.
38.
Just an incredible play to me.
I think Elky might be guilty of being actually a little too tight tonight.
Wilinofsky would be playing this hand the same way if he had Jack 3 or Jack 4, in which case Elky would have the best hand with Ace Jack.
Yep. I think I folded pocket 6s once. I think it must have been a mistake, seeing how, I mean, you just got to get it in there.
And a 10 comes up on the river, but it's also a 3rd diamond.
It'll probably freeze.
It's going to go check, check here, I believe.
Well, Wilinofsky might think that he has to turn his hand into a bluff.
Yeah. He might think, am I against like a, I don't know. What,
2 7s or something.
2 7s would be a hand, yeah.
I'm inclined to think that he doesn't believe he has the best hand. And that's why
he's gonna push all.
That's why he's making this size bet.
He has not pushed all in, but he's made a big bet. A very, very big bet.
Now, if you're sitting in Elky's seat, you're scared of a hand like 7 Jack, Jack Queen. Other hands can beat you now. So many things. What can he beat but by like a King 6? King Jack.
He
King
knows.
4.
I mean, it keeps running through his head. He's like, you can't have the nut flush. But that's not really what's running through his head. He's like, I called that turn bet. I think Elky's going to fold.
Boy, it's such a strange spot.
I mean, it's a hard call anyway.
Elky's hand is so weak that he must be aware that Wilinofsky could be bluffing with the best hand. I mean, that's what this is. That has to be running through his head if he wants to call a bluff.
Well, Elky does lay the hand down. If he had more chips, he might try a check raise there with the ace of diamonds in his hand, but he lays it down.
He's not happy. He is not happy with how it's going. It is not going well in this 4th match of Premier League Poker 5 Group B for Elky.
Or Patrik.
I don't like the way Elky played that hand.
Get it in pre-flop. These jacks, these ace jacks, 9s, whatever they are.
How many pots these guys are losing because they're not re-raising pre-flop and taking control of the hand, taking the lead, as we say. And that's why they're losing these pots. They're getting bet. Even when they have the best hand, they get bet out.
If Tom opens, you can fold ace jack. The guy's played 3 hands. One was a bluff, 2 were the nuts. Like
I don't understand it either.
If Ben raises, you just raise with your real hands.
It's almost like Elky hasn't studied the permutations hard enough, or maybe he's just, you know, has looked at them for a long time and is thinking a different way.
See, this is people are only calling with pairs. This is a little wider than a pair, but it's definitely a solid hand. I want to play my Premier Heat over again.
Well, Jungleman has woken up and flatted the button, and he's done it, you know, with a sort of a surprising hand, in my mind.
Well, it's only going to cost Patrik $6,000 to call here with the Queen 8 of diamonds. $45,000 out there. I know he doesn't have many chips, but still, I think for that price, you almost have to put 6,000 more out there, don't you?
Yeah, it also keeps him around 20-odd thousand, 10,000 ahead of Scott Seiver, which is a key thing in his mind. But the math is so overwhelming. 45 to 6 is, I mean, 9 to 1, please.
It is, there is a funny little match race going on right now between Seiver and Antonius.
I mean, the biggest underdog you can be pre-flop on a hand is what, 4.5 to 1 or so.
Yeah, it's King versus King 5 or Deuce. I can't remember, and it's 5.4% or something like that.
Hey, check. 4 at 17.
Was the opening raiser, Wilinofsky, and he's firing out the C bet.
Well, he's got the best hand right now with 2 7s.
Now, on all past form, Tom Dwan would just call here. The complication is there are 2 players to act behind him.
I think I read in a book somewhere, no set, no bet. But this does not apply to Tom. If he's ahead, he calls. He doesn't do that no set, no bet thing. It's like,
well, they called here.
But he called and he's not ahead, so.
He needs a 6 or a 4 to have the best hand now. It doesn't happen as a 9 comes off. Now, there's a good chance that Ben could put him on a flush draw with that kind of flop. And may yet bet again the 2 sevens, thinking he has the best hand here, which indeed he does. On the other hand, his opponent could have flopped 3 3s or 3 5s, or possibly have 2 10s.
And Mike, isn't that sort of the beauty of Tom Dwan's pre-flop strategy right now, which that in this spot against Wilinofsky, look, he's actually scared him a little bit.
You're right, Jesse, exactly why. Because Dwan's played premium hands. In all the hands that he's played, they didn't see the bluff that he made with the Jack-4 like we did.
Right.
All they've seen him show down the nuts and play the nuts and slow play every big hand.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just clicking into place. This strategy
but he's
by
now
Tom
checking
Dwan,
for value.
I don't know how he developed it.
Well, the ace of hearts comes off. Now that's going to be a scare card for both players, no question about it.
By the way, Mike, you mentioned the possibility of Dwan having a flush draw. I think in Wilinofsky's mind, most of Tom Dwan's flush draws included the ace of hearts.
Right.
And that might be what's encouraged him to bet here.
Well, he's going to bet here. I'm a little surprised as to why, but you would think he can only get called if he was beat. Unless you put Dwan specifically on 2 6s or 2 4s.
Does seem like a tricky spot.
This would be like a hero call if he made one.
Yep.
As we call it. Unfortunately, it won't work for him here. I think he's going to be shocked to see the hand that this guy bet on the river when he could have checked it down.
Yep.
If he makes this call, he could literally put Dwan on tilt a little bit, I think. And he does make the call, and the guy's going to show him 2 sevens and win the pot. And Dwan's not going to believe he bet that hand on the river.
It is a lot rather.
It is exactly the value bet, bluff, or bluff bet, or whatever they're called. It's like you don't know which side of the coin's on and where and whatever.
When Dwan called, Wilinofsky thought he was beat, and yet it turns out to be a value bet.
You can just read Dwan's mind. How could he value bet 2 sevens on the river there? Impossible. And as you said, Jesse, I'm not sure he was value betting 2 sevens there. It didn't look like he thought he had the best hand.
Nope.
2 fold.
So we're definitely going to see Vanessa play this hand ace high and
13.
Okay, yeah, Ben plays any pot with Vanessa when he has pocket aces like he has here, or king queen, but read aces, because in Ben's mind this is the nicest hand he's seen in a long time. He's probably gonna extra bet it.
4.
It does look like a re-raise.
21.
I think it's almost a mini re-raise. Is it only up to 21? Is that possible?
Well, sort of an isolation raise to run everybody else out of the pot, or he can just play Vanessa here. When you're sitting on ace deuce offsuit and someone 3-bets you, you don't like it. And I don't care if the guy's a thief or if he's not a thief, you still don't like it.
Well, Vanessa never saw a 3-bet that she didn't like to 4-bet.
You think? I don't think. Do you think?
I think it's going to be the quiet muck for Vanessa here.
She's got so many chips.
Yeah, so much for that. Looks like the 4-bet. You are right.
Well,
just amazing.
There's nothing I know. It's just, you know, as aggressive as you know she is, as aggressive as you think someone can be, when you see her cards, you think to yourself, not even she could do it, and yet that's how you get to be the most aggressive player in the world, isn't it?
Look at this.
He's actually just called here, hasn't he?
Huh.
He has made the call.
And how much does he have? I guess he has 358, so he put in, I guess he had 408 or something.
Well, this pot would do damage to both of these players. Well, come 7, 8, 9, no help to either player.
Check.
Gosh, she's checked it.
Well, it's a scary flop, I'm telling you.
Right?
This is a scary flop for Vanessa. The guy's got ace-10 here. You know, he may not get away from this hand. I think Vanessa's got to go, unless she's got the heart to move in on the guy. And we know she's got heart, but Phil, could you believe it if she would raise this, check raise it?
It would be a pretty obscene.
Notice the bet though, 43,000.
Yeah, obscene.
Into a pot that had 130,000 in it.
It looks so strong when she check raises. I mean, she could only, you know, you can only check raise with her hand if you have air or a made hand. You can't do it with a pocket pair, Mike. You can't do it with kings or queens. She has to have 2 pair or better,
folks,
or air.
It might be hard to believe, folks, but she can't see through his cards.
Right.
She doesn't know what he has.
But she can do it with queens and kings because she's thinking, oh, what if he has ace-2 of clubs? I got to get it in. You know, I think the queens and kings is wrong, Jesse. I've never disagreed with you in my life, but wouldn't she do this with kings? Isn't that a hand where a guy can have 9-10 or like ace-9 or ace-2 of clubs or whatever?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, and she needs to get the first. It doesn't matter where the chips come from. If this is the guy that's going to play pots with her, then she's going to punish him. You know,
folks. Just stand up and salute Vanessa Selbst right now for the way she played that hand. I'm telling you,
Vanessa's the best.
It is incredible. The play that she just made to win this pot.
I want to do some of that stuff.
She 4-bet before the flop with the ace-deuce offsuit. She check-raised on the flop when it came 7, 8, and 9. When the guy called 4 bets before the flop and bet on the flop. How do you do it? This is just incredible what we're witnessing here.
And so deserved, the 2 players at the top of this leaderboard.
They deserve to be there, no question about it.
And the story at the bottom, Jungleman, Antonius, and Scott Seiver, do they only have themselves to blame?
Well, just amazing. The 2-point leaders coming into this final table are now sitting in 7th and 8th place and are both in jeopardy of not advancing.
It's turning out to be a very exciting league match, and there's plenty more action to come as we find out who will make it through to the final and whose Premier League campaign is over. This is Party Poker Premier League Poker 5 coming to you from Vienna. 16 of poker's best have been battling it out in this league format, accumulating points for where they finish in each game. Tonight, the last league match is in action. It'll be the top 3 in each league that go through to the final. 4th and 5th meet in the heads-up stages, and the bottom 3 are sent packing. Let's head back over to your commentary team.
What Scott thinks, I would guess that's true.
Oh, about.
Vanessa Selbst nearly triple her starting stack. Tom Dwan in a good position to be one of the 3 at the final table, and then you just have to wonder how it's going to fall right now with Antonius, Seiver, and Timoshenko, your current Group B league leaders. What's your prediction, Phil, for which 3 from this group are going to go to the final, straight to the final table?
I'm not familiar enough with what they all have for points. I can't make any kind of opinion on that.
All right, let's change gears here a little bit. This 3-bet thing
I'm in the commentary box, but on the other side, I don't have the paperwork. I've spent all my calories trying to figure out my heat, which I messed up. So, you know, I can't. Even with perfect information, I can't.
That's fair enough.
Well, I disagree with you, though, Phil. I don't think you messed it up.
I don't either.
I mean, you could
pocket deuces. I'm supposed to call with the pocket deuces, I think.
Mission accomplished, Phil. Mission accomplished.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about that. I mean, you made it to where you've got a shot to get to this final table.
That's what I really wanted.
You got to win a heads-up match. You could have easily gone out in 6th or 7th place. You didn't do it, so feel good about yourself.
You guys are going to be great dads. You really give the encouragement card strong. You're very good. You guys are good people.
Meanwhile, Vanessa Selbst opened this pot up for 12,000, and it was called by Wilinofsky and Dwan on the button, who's strong. Dwan is strong here.
Well, he's strong, but with an overcard out there, you're not liking it.
23.
There's a good chance this kid may call with a gut shot straight draw on the backdoor flush draw, knowing how aggressive he is. And that would shut Dwan right out of this pot. If Ben folds, Dwan now has a tough decision as to what to do with 2 jacks. So tough to play when there's an overcard out there and your opponent's firing, and firing into 2 players.
How many points does Tom Dwan have? If he should go felt here, it's brutal for him, right? He's like out of it or something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that call is going to allow Dwan to get away from these 2 jacks.
Yes, that call saved.
It didn't save him. I mean,
it hurt him. It might hurt him.
I don't think how we can call here in this spot. I can't believe he's
There you go.
this.
Well, he's calling because I would fold.
That is incredible.
I'm telling you, I've got the perfect indicator.
That is incredible. How can you have that kind of poker feel?
Yeah. How do you have that?
And now a 5 comes off, which does put a possible straight out there. Now that might neutralize Vanessa.
I guess he's calling thinking, well, if it goes check, check, then I'm probably good. Let me see what they do. Now Ben, you know, he loves that 5. So I mean, since I think he's going to take the free card, I guess he bets because I'm the reverse indicator. Let's see. I would take the free card. This means he'll bet like all in or something, right?
He's
got 300, so he'll bet like 60.
He's got the pair and the gut shot straight draw.
And 68, because I would never bet 68. So
just an incredible. This is incredible to me.
52. Okay, I was off by 16. But
both Vanessa has bet once. This kid is now betting, and Dwan caught in the middle with the 2 jacks.
Now if I was Dwan, I would fold. Therefore, he will call.
No.
But I'm telling you, I'm very good at this. I get it wrong all the time. All right, and I'm folding here, so he's gonna call.
I don't even see Dwan.
Look, he does everything right, and I'm just telling you, I figured out how to get it right. I shouldn't be telling the viewing audience my opinion of what I would do.
No,
I should just.
Dwan already got out.
Oh, he did. Oh.
What an incredible bet by Ben right there.
It was ludicrous. I don't get it. Wow.
Well, see, that's the problem with Dwan's situation. These people continue to bet. They don't just check and give up the pot.
They don't.
They fire again.
Oh, I'm still.
And if you're going to give it up on the turn with the 2 jacks, why would you call on the flop?
I think pre-flop. How did that action go pre-flop?
It didn't go strong enough for Dwan. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Well, raise, call. Yep.
Did he flat? He flatted, right?
So I don't think I'm winning the race.
What an amazing night of poker we've had an opportunity to watch so far. 3 lumberjacks at the table, too.
Yeah.
The Canadian Mountie Brigade. This is kind of like a triple homage to Paul Bunyan.
Yeah. I feel like we're going to have a logging contest here on the break or something, you know?
Or the 4 or 6 offsuit. Yeah, and it's kings and 4-6 offsuit.
And just
look at this. Tom Dwan gets the aces.
Well,
and
he's just
flats.
being so consistent about his pre-flop action here.
Oh no!
Just calling again.
Not this again.
It's well, that's how what Wilinofsky's saying. Oh no, not Dwan again. But that's what he's got.
Well, Dwan slow playing the aces.
Now you have to decide.
There you see, Wilinofsky's flopped.
It feels like he's supposed to just check fold because he knows if Tom flats like he's laughing because of that, I think. No, something else. Maybe something else.
I think he's laughing because he's in another pot with Tom as well, yeah. But if he bets, Tom will probably just call based on what he's been doing.
He's going to bet for sure, but with a possible straight and a possible flush out there. And even if your opponent's got the kind of hand that he's got, do you really want to give him a free card by just calling there?
He can't look at Tom, otherwise he starts cracking a smile.
I think Tom's going to move all in here.
Mike, Sam Trickett, who's
or at least make a big raise.
Which means he'll call, right? Because we never get it right.
Well, speak for yourself.
Sam Trickett, who's been playing a lot with Tom Dwan over the past couple months.
See, Mike, we get it wrong. Everything you gotta just adjust and say, okay, what would I, you know? Oh, this is crazy. So now we've got the flush draw. One is, oh wow, the king.
Dwan's put himself in a position to lose this pot now.
Yeah, again. And I thought Tom Dwan had the ace of diamonds, but now I'm seeing it's ace of hearts. So Wilinofsky loves it. He's got the flush draw, pair, king.
Sam Trickett, who's been playing with Tom Dwan a lot the last couple months, said that Tom Dwan used to have about a 20 to 30 yard stare. Now he's increased his range by about 700 yards. He's got about 1,000-yard stare now. It's an intense look that Tom Dwan lays on these guys.
Now, do you just call again? That's the question. At some point, are you going to raise with these two aces? He could lose this pot now if a diamond, a 4, or king comes up.
Tom doesn't want to overinflate these. I know they get big, but based on the format, he just seems to be letting the other players do the betting and making the decisions
Well,
late.
let's see if it works out for him. And it will with that card coming off. A deuce comes off. No way Dwan is exiting this pot now. But boy, in my mind, was he gambling right there.
4, check.
And let's be honest, even if you think Tom Dwan is calling, if Wilinofsky does go all in, the amount of pressure it will put Tom Dwan on under here, Mike. If Dwan calls an all-in bet and loses, he's out of the Premier League. I mean, out.
Right.
He will not make the playoffs. He will not make the final table.
Well, in the meantime,
he's super
Ben has
underrepresented.
checked, so
yeah. Okay, so if he
Dwan
wants
cannot lose the pot.
Unless he can't lose. He's never going to bet.
He's never going to throw the aces away
he
now.
He might bet for value. Could he bet for value? Because he knows Ben wouldn't check a flush.
Of course he's betting.
He knows the guy's going to bet a set or 2 pair as well. He's got to believe the aces are the best hand now. And plus, one more reason for betting is you don't want to show that you slow play 2 aces all the way down again.
Yeah, my gut thing would be check, but then if I think for a little bit, I would bet.
Right.
So I would have got it right because I would have thought.
He doesn't want to show everybody 2 aces again. At least I don't believe he does. And no, he does not. He just quietly mucks his hand. That would be the second time everybody would have seen that he had 2 aces and never took a bet with him the whole hand.
And never raised. Never raised. Just made a bet on the river. Oh, this is incredible.
They've played 3 levels.
And Scott Seiver's ahead by 1K on Patrik. I didn't notice when that happened. Wow.
There's a battle at the top. There's a battle at the bottom. You start to think, guys, maybe that Tom Dwan is pushing himself forward into the top 3. Yevgeniy Timoshenko is holding for Jungleman, for Antonius, and for Seiver. It's time to sweat. The blinds are 5 and 10 now, though. It is a little bit itchier.
Yeah, everything's the same. Buttons the same, everything.
And Wilinofsky's been quite active 3-betting her from the small blind.
He better be a little careful here. Not so much for being careful.
You know, he could get his whole stack in here pre-flop.
Yeah, I don't think so, unless he puts it in.
50.
With bet number 5. It's the only way it can go all in. See Dwan thinking about making a move. But lets it go. And if you're Vanessa, I think against this guy, you just re-raise again, don't you?
Yeah, I guess now that he's made it 50, with him only having 300 back, she can't really make a bet that would induce him to shove, really, would it?
She's going to go. I don't think Tom was.
The problem she's going to have here is he's first act after the flop. If any paint comes out there, or 2 paints or an ace, he's going to make a big bet, and she's going to give up the 2 10s. I think she just got to go ahead and re-raise right here.
Me too. She's got 7. If things go really bad, I mean, she's got 400 left.
She's still going to be chip leader after this hand.
But by the way, Mike, it's like a small little detail, but I don't think Tom was ever. Was just a little slow on the uptake for that 9-8 fold. I don't think he was.
No squeeze there.
No, I don't think that was in his thinking right then. He's now got 400. He's like, there's 3 or 4 guys.
Correct.
I don't know.
I mean, Wilinofsky will recognize that if she was light, she would have just shoved it, you know, if she wanted to make a play, because there wasn't much room there in the stacks, was there?
Does it make it easier to fold knowing that you'll see the hands?
Nope.
It makes it easier to fold knowing I have 6 high.
Once she 4-bet him right there, he knew it was time to give it up.
Here then is the Group B league table as it stands now. Vanessa Selbst, only 12 points, but she's in first. 16 would almost certainly put her in, if not the top 3, definitely the top 5. Seiver, Antonius, and Timoshenko. And those are the guys who are struggling right now. They're right now in the final table zone. But for Tom Dwan, he's had a great start trying to eke himself in there to those top three, Mike.
The top three are in trouble, Jesse, just as you pointed out. They may be the point leaders now, but if they get knocked out first or second, they could well be out of making the final table.
Next time, Group B's last league match continues, and the Premier League stars feel the pressure to keep in contention. We'll find out who's guaranteed a seat at the final table, which players will have to meet in the playoffs, and who will be out of this year's Premier League.
Cards are going to be flying off the table soon for Dan.
All right, Sky, can you shut up for a bit? Because I'm actually thinking.
Wow.
She can't call aces.
Oh, God, come on.
It was ridiculous. Like, my head almost exploded.